Cowboy's in for one tough motherfucking night. If it goes past 8-9 minutes, we're both on the brink of death. And that's how I want it.
Justin Gaethje is now one of the best fighters in the lightweight division. And he's even scarier now than he was before. In his fight against Cowboy Cerrone, Justin showcased his numerous improvements with the same old brutality. Justin Gaethje's leg kicks were always a massive threat in his game, but he uses them more effectively than ever before. The pain created by that attack is dangerous for Cerrone, but what is even more dangerous is his reaction to this pain, because that's how Gaethje was implementing his game plan. He stayed unpredictable. Half the time he actually threw the leg kick, and half the time he was feinting it. And whenever he was feinting it, he would get this reaction from Cerrone. Cerrone lifting his lead leg up was exactly what Justin needed to enter the pocket. Look at this sequence. Justin feints the leg kick, Cerrone reacts, and right there, Cerrone is on one leg. This means that until he puts his lead leg back on the ground, he can't use any footwork. Justin can now go blitzing forward, exactly like he did for his entire career, but this time it's on his terms. If he knows his opponent is off balance, can counterattack, or is in an uncomfortable position, that's when he goes for what he loves and starts brawling. And those brutal leg kicks combined with those leg kick feints allow him to do exactly that. He feints, gets Cerrone off balance on one leg, unable to counterattack, and immediately closes the range. Another thing to notice about Gaethje's game is the fact that he's never worried about a takedown. Being an unbelievable wrestler, Gaethje can use a parallel stance for his power strikes without any respect for a level change. That creates an interesting dynamic which is important to keep in mind. Justin Gaethje has improved a lot since his first 2 losses, and his career path really reminds me of someone. We'll talk about that at the end of this video. But yeah, the new Justin highlight Gaethje, instead of going all in every hand, now raises when he has a good hand and makes great calls when someone goes all in. In non-poker words, Justin enters the pocket only in an intelligent manner by setting up his attacks. Gaethje isn't a reckless fighter anymore, but in a good way. And when he's not in boxing range, he stays out of harm's way with great movement, feints, and unpredictability. Plus, when he gets pressured, his counter-attacking skills are impressive, and he's not afraid of getting taken down, which means he can use a parallel stance to generate lots of power in every strike, even going backwards. Here's what I saw in Gaethje's last 3 fights. The close boxing range will always be his world, but now he enters it on his terms. With his leg kick feints and other feints, he waits patiently for his opponents to be in an uncomfortable position and then he goes in. Gaethje was a painful puzzle to solve. Now he's an expert level puzzle, and here's why. With his strategy, he gives very few striking opportunities to his opponents. For example, Cowboy is a great kicker, but during the fight, Gaethje was either very far away, at leg kick range, or in brawling/clinching range. That means the only time frame Cowboy could kick was when he was susceptible to getting kicked in the legs. That severely compromised his kicking game. Obviously, we know Cowboy is a slow starter, but it really looked like Cerrone was thinking twice before throwing any kicks. And that's mainly because of Justin's offense at that distance. But that's not all. Justin Gaethje has a very annoying guard. It's nearly impossible to head kick him if you don't set it up first. In that fight, Donald went for front kicks to the body, which is a good strategy against Gaethje's guard, and his plan was probably to set up the front kick to the face like he did to Iaquinta. Another weakness of Justin's turtle guard is the liver kick, which Cowboy used once or twice without too much impact. But then again, the violent leg kicks and the occasional blitz made Cowboy a little hesitant. A little note, that specific reaction from Cerrone is very common in Muay Thai, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. That tactic would have served him well in a longer fight, as it's a good way to preserve his leg and also set up some of his kicks. Gaethje did a fantastic job of forcing Cowboy to come forward, which was surprising. His devastating leg kicks were dominating the kicking range, and Cowboy couldn't counterattack quickly enough when Gaethje was blitzing towards him because he was off balance almost every time. And so Cowboy had no choice but to be first in the exchanges and come forward if he wanted to have success. But by doing that, he exposes himself to Gaethje's world. Cerrone's boxing defense isn't the best, particularly not early in the fight, and his guard is not really effective. Gaethje once said that his opponents have no choice but to fight his fight, That statement is still 100% true. He forced Cowboy to come into his world, where one punch can make you forget the pain in your leg. Earlier in this video, I talked about the weird stand-up dynamic of Gaethje. The same dynamic also applies to Cowboy, who's even less worried about a takedown from Gaethje. Fun fact, Gaethje only attempts a takedown if the referee is stopping the fight. But yeah, the fact that he's not worried about being taken down allows him to use a parallel stance if he wants to, but a parallel stance is only good for offense tactics and terrible for defense. Plus, Cowboy was overcommitting on some punches, and that's why he ended up in a parallel stance. Add this to his average guard and below average head movement, it's pretty clear that this position favorizes Gaethje all day. Especially because Gaethje can also use a parallel stance to counter Cerrone's blitz. And what about his impressive counter-attacking skills? The way he leaned back and threw that right hook was really special. It's like his whole body is gathering circular energy while keeping the whip and elasticity of the punch. It reminded me of something, and I think I found what I was looking for. Oezdemir when he knocked out Cirkunov with an amazing shot right behind the ear. That weird motion results in a magnificent clean strike that sends Cerrone to the ground. Third first round KO in a row for Justin Gaethje, and his career now looks a lot like the career of Francis Ngannou. Both have known a quick rise in the UFC, followed by 2 losses in a row that made doubters multiply, followed by a first round KO of someone in the top 15, followed by 2 more first round KOs over legends of their respective divisions. Gaethje is now in the talks for a title shot after Tony, and he's yet another proof that MMA's landscape can change in an instant. Tough loss for Cowboy, but he seems more determined than ever, even after 33 UFC fights. Incredible performance by Gaethje, and the more I think about it, the more I want to see him fight Khabib. And before you dislike this video, Tony Ferguson must be next. But after that, Khabib versus Justin could be the most exciting fight in the lightweight division or any division. So that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. If you'd like to see more, you know what to do, but just in case, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.